Hi everyone, I'm Chris Hurt. Happy to be with you, and boy do I have an urgent update on artificial intelligence stocks. Are we in an AI bubble? Should you take action quickly before we see a crash? There are lots of respected market voices out there saying it's like the dot-com meltdown all over again right now, where the valuation of AI stocks has far outpaced the actual profits. And it is true, key AI stocks have seen some unreal gains over the last couple of years. Nvidia is up 10x since the release of ChatGPT in November 2022. TSMC is up 294% over the same time period, and AMD up 198%. Palantir, an AI defense stock, is up a whopping 2,215%. Now, I'm not talking about penny stocks here either, but blue chip names. In fact, according to JP Morgan, just 30 AI-related stocks make up about 44% of the entire value of the S&P 500. Companies like Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and others are investing record amounts of money in AI. And all of this as lofty forecasted revenues have yet to materialize. Now, the lightning rod for these bubble fears is the AI data center. You know what I'm talking about. These are humongous buildings that are popping up all over America right now. They cost hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars each to build. More than 8,300 of them are expected to be in operation by 2030. Just one data center uses as much energy as a small city. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says over $1 trillion will be spent on AI data centers in the next couple of years, and he would know. Most of these gigantic buildings are filled with at least tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of expensive NVIDIA chips that are designed to provide maximum computational power for AI applications. But what is all this leading to, and do we even need all of these data centers? Because right now, AI isn't showing as much revenue to match all of its hype. How long will investors wait before they abandon AI stocks and the bubble bursts? And of course, that would drag the American economy down with it. I think the time has come for some answers to these very serious questions, which is why we have just flown in the foremost expert on the subject, AI and AI data centers. His name is Jeff Brown. Jeff was one of the very first to recommend NVIDIA as an AI stock back in February of 2016. And even back then, 6 years before the release of ChatGPT, he saw the future of AI and knew that NVIDIA's chips would be at the heart of all of it. It did recently become the first $5 trillion company in the world, and that stock is up 28,534% since Jeff first recommended it. Then he did the same thing a couple of years later in December 2018 when he saw Tesla for what it really was, an AI and autonomous driving company with a very strong chance to make self-driving cars a reality. Now, I'll point out that many analysts at the time were proclaiming the death of Tesla, saying it was on the verge of bankruptcy. But Jeff fundamentally understood Tesla's core technology in a way that most investors just didn't grasp. And Elon Musk's juggernaut is now up 1,960% since Jeff recommended them. He beat other investors to the punch on cryptocurrencies as well. He recommended Bitcoin when it was just $240 way back in 2015. That one is up 37,326% since then. And in just the last couple of years, Jeff has proven to be one of the world's foremost experts on AI data centers as well. One of the first to examine Elon Musk's Colossus data center in Memphis, Tennessee. It's over 785,000 square feet, uses as much power as a city the size of Richmond or Buffalo. In fact, Jeff has actually visited critical data center infrastructure across the country. He has seen the impact firsthand on his own. But today, Jeff is going to join us and reveal something that he has never publicly shared before. See, Jeff believes that there is another hidden use for AI data centers, a special technology that's hidden inside, and it could be 58,000 times more powerful than AI. Now, early investors who knew about this have already turned a few small-cap stocks into unreal gains, like 977%, 3,123%, and even 5,846% in just 12 months' time. Groundbreaking new technology here, and it has massive backing from NVIDIA, not to mention Microsoft, Google, Amazon, even the US government. And I think when you find out what's really going on inside these AI data centers, it's going to change the way that you view the future of AI. And in just a moment, Jeff is going to be joining us here. He'll discuss the AI bubble, explain what you should do next to prepare for this yourself. He's going to get to the bottom of the AI data center craze and show you what's really going on inside these controversial buildings. And in truth, it's really not what most people think. Jeff is going to explain how a technology capable of being embedded inside those data centers is in fact 58,000 times more powerful than AI. It's a breakthrough that could completely disrupt the stock market. Now, if history is any indicator at all, getting in early, along with Jeff Brown, could be your key to truly exponential gains, even as some AI stocks are crashing around us. Keep in mind that besides being one of the top tech minds in the world, Jeff actually called the #1 performing tech stock of 2016, 2018, and 2019 ahead of time. He called Twilio before it went up as much as 1,716%. Okta went as high as 920% after his recommendation. As a matter of fact, the year that he recommended Twilio and Okta, both those two stocks ended up being numbers 1 and 2, the two top small cap performers on the Russell 1000 index. The odds of doing that are 1 in 500 million. And on top of all of that, Jeff himself is a graduate of Purdue University's Cradle of Astronauts, the very same aeronautical and astronautical engineering program that's produced more than a dozen NASA astronauts to date, including Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. He's got his master's from the London Business School. He's an alumnus of the Yale School of Management. He has professional certificates from Stanford, MIT, and UC Berkeley. Perhaps more importantly, he served as a senior executive at very well-known tech companies like Juniper Networks, Qualcomm, and NXP Semiconductors. So today, we're very honored to have him here. He's going to tell us the truth about AI and what, in fact, is actually going on inside of these data centers. Jeff Brown, welcome to the show.
Chris, thank you so much. This is such an interesting development. I'm very excited to get into it.
Yes, and it's great to be with you again. I haven't seen you since last year. I guess I'll start off with the most important question here, which is, are we in an AI bubble? I mean, there are a lot of really smart experts out there who say that we're in a similar situation to what happened before the dot-com bubble took place. In fact, the other day, Michael Burry,
Oh, no.
you know, the man behind the movie The Big Short,
Of course.
he famously made a fortune shorting the U.S. housing market. He said that AI was like the dot-com bubble. He's predicting an imminent crash.
I saw
so
that.
I want your impression. Is he onto something there?
Well, Chris, the honest answer to your question is yes and no. And I respect some of Michael Burry's work a lot, and I definitely love the book, The Big Short. The movie wasn't bad, but not as good as the book. But I believe Burry is being a bit duplicitous here. So consider that he hasn't posted on X since April of 2023. Now, Chris, that's nearly 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But even more importantly, he built large short positions in two stocks, AI stocks, I should say, Palantir and Nvidia, in advance of his series of posts about an AI bubble that came out of nowhere after nearly 3 years of complete silence. Now, you know me, this is classic Wall Street antics. Quietly build your large position and then go public in an effort to influence the market in the desired direction and hopefully close out the position at a large profit at others' expense. Now, Burry's positions will profit if he is successful in stoking fear in the markets about an AI bubble, which is exactly what he's trying to do.
Right. I understand that, but there are some overpriced AI stocks out there.
So that's the part that's true, Chris. So look, I think Palantir is an outstanding AI company with a great long-term outlook, but the market is definitely overvaluing the stock right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to get into some nitty-gritty numbers here for a second, Chris, but I do think they help to make an important point. So Palantir's forward valuation of enterprise value to sales is around 66. So that means it's trading at a valuation of 66 times annual sales, not annual profits. That's an important key distinction.
Right.
And it has a 133 enterprise value to EBITDA multiple. That's earnings before interest, taxes, debt, and amortization. So typically we might see that around 30 to 35 for a high quality, high growth tech company.
Whoa.
So Palantir's valuation multiple is 4 to 5 times higher.
Right.
So Burry isn't wrong in this specific case. Palantir's valuations are extremely high, even for a company with 83% gross margins and growing sales at 53% year on year. Now, it wouldn't take much for Palantir to fall back to more reasonable levels. So Burry may be right about that one for now. And there are some other companies who have definitely been overhyped beyond reasonable financial valuations. So let's take another example. And this time we'll look at free cash flow. In my book, free cash flow is king. It tells us exactly how much cash a business has on hand to fund the business and invest, as well as to service any debt that it has. So Oracle is an AI name that's been thrown around a lot recently. It will have negative $23 billion of free cash flow this fiscal year and a negative $23 billion in the next fiscal year, on top of $124 billion in debt. Now, after the stock ran up last fall on AI hype, I saw Oracle's financial metrics as a major problem. Definitely not a company you'd want to invest in at that time. And since then, well, guess what? The company's share price has fallen by almost half.
Wow.
Now, let's take another example. CoreWeave, it's another very hot, very popular AI data center play. It will have negative $19 billion in free cash flow this year. It is literally the definition of burning money. But Chris, these are just a couple of cherry-picked examples. I believe Burry is completely wrong about the overall AI market. He doesn't understand it. So there's an obvious reason why.
Obvious? What do you mean by obvious?
Well, Michael Burry is just an investor. He is not a technology expert, and he's missing some key points about AI and the future of technology. And I'm not just picking on Burry either. There are a lot of so-called experts out there who really know nothing about how the technology works and where this is all going. So I'm not just a successful investor. My background is in aerospace engineering. I've worked extensively in the semiconductor industry, in wireless networks, in IT networking, in cybersecurity, with fiber optic networks. Chris, I think I've told you, I've even climbed poles. I've walked factory floors. I've worked in data centers and done billions of dollars of high-tech business around the world. And I've been intimately involved in many of the most breakthrough technologies of our generation. I, in fact, live for it. And whenever something incredible is happening in high tech, you can be sure that I will be there in the mix. And from what I know about this incredible trend, which humbly is a lot more than Michael Burry, I believe it's still early and the AI boom is just beginning. And there's another reason that we might want to take Burry's position with a grain of salt. This might surprise you, but he is more often wrong than he's right.
Really?
So to prove my point, Burry has tried to bet against the current bull market multiple times in the last few years. So as much credit as he gets for calling the subprime crisis in 2008, which was epic, I think we need to examine the full breadth of his predictions. And while the media doesn't talk about it or doesn't take the time to provide important context, the record shows that he has a history of bad calls.
I hesitate to pile on here, but can you take a moment, just give us a few examples of what you mean by that?
Well, sure. So in early 2017, you might remember this, he predicted a financial meltdown. But guess what happened? The S&P 500 soared 23% that year. I was bullish at that time. And in the fall of 2019, he predicted that index funds and ETFs were distorting the market and would result in a crash. Well, guess what happened? The S&P 500 rose an incredible 27% that year and continued even higher in 2020 and 2021, with, of course, the exception of that pandemic spring panic of 2020. Now, I was bullish then as well. And in December 2020, he took out a $530 million short position on Tesla, claiming ridiculous valuations. You know this, I were bullish. Tesla's share price soared 90% over the next year. And in early 2021, he claimed that inflation would destroy Bitcoin. You know, I was bullish. And what happened? Bitcoin rose to new highs. In August 2023, he placed a $1.6 billion bet against the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, predicting a crash. Guess what? I was bullish. The market rallied. It was led by tech stocks, and Burry's puts expired worthless.
Yeah. So clearly the movie should have been about you at this point. I mean, you got better stories here than he did.
I mean, it would make for a great story, wouldn't it? But, today, I think he's dead wrong about the overall AI market. I know it. And his specific shorts on NVIDIA are going to lead to some very big losses. I mean, this is a very far cry from the dot-com bubble.
How do you know it's going to be different this time?
All right. Well, first of all, the face of the dot-com bubble were companies like Pets.com, if you remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's companies whose stock went up completely on hype, even as they came nowhere near turning a profit. They didn't even have a path towards generating free cash flow. I mean, Pets.com even took out $1 million Super Bowl
I remember.
before they made a single dollar in profit. But that's not at all the case with AI. Many of these AI companies are already seeing very large, increasing revenues year after year.
Right. Can you give us some examples there, maybe?
Well, let's take NVIDIA, for instance. I mean, they are making money hand over fist. In fact, all expectations are that they'll generate about $100 billion in free cash flow this fiscal year. This is happening right now. I mean, they've reported record earnings for the last 6 quarters. In October 2025, they reported $57 billion in quarterly revenue, which was up, and this is the important part, it was up 62% year over year. And its data center revenue specifically was $51.2 billion, the majority of it, up 66% year over year. And that's because the spending on AI and AI data centers especially is very real. It's concrete. Now, NVIDIA is the biggest winner of that spending because of its ability to design and produce the bleeding edge of GPUs, graphics processing units, the workhorses of artificial intelligence. So it produces new, higher performance models year after year after year. Its pace is incessant, and so is the appetite of its customers. So let's just have a look at this graphic.
Okay.
So Amazon has pledged to spend $100 billion this year alone, the largest capital expenditure increase in its history.
Really?
Microsoft spending topped $80 billion in 2025, also record year-over-year increase. Alphabet, this is the parent company of Google, announced spending plans for $75 billion, and Meta as much as $100 billion. Now, most of that money will go to AI data centers and NVIDIA's market, dominating GPU chips.
Okay, so, but that's exactly it, right? I mean, these companies are spending a lot of money. Do they actually have that money and the revenue necessary to do that?
All right, that's the right question, Chris. And the answer is yes, they do. So just consider this. Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, will throw off $64 billion in free cash flow this year. Meta's yearly free cash flow is $52 billion. Last year, Amazon generated $17 billion in free cash flow, and this year, that number is expected to be $41 billion. Microsoft has an even more astonishing $78.2 billion. Now, these companies are hardly starving for money.
Yeah.
The cash is there. So what Burry isn't factoring in is the race to artificial intelligence or AGI. So that's when an AI hits a point where these general purpose intelligence systems are capable of performing at levels more advanced than the best experts in any area of study. And here's the key point, they are capable of self-directed research. That's when the real profit is unlocked. And while he didn't state it explicitly, he is essentially assuming the industry will not achieve AGI anytime soon. But as a technologist, and as an expert in the field of AI data centers, I believe AGI is coming sooner rather than later, and it will be a productivity boom and economic expansion that will more than justify all of the current spending. And I'm predicting AGI will create the largest economic boom in history, not just in our lifetimes, but in history. Economic growth in the U.S. will be on the order of 7 to 10% annually. In fact, it would arguably be irresponsible of these companies not to spend in a race to become the first to achieve AGI.
Interesting.
Chris, it is the single most valuable technological innovation in history. And think about this. Even when one company achieves AGI, do you really think all of the other companies will just give up? They'll just stop spending? Or will they race to catch up and have a competing AGI solution and therefore compete for market share?
That's actually a very good point. So it happens in every other industry out there. Is that why we're seeing all these data centers getting built?
Exactly right. I mean, without high-powered AI data centers fitted with the most advanced semiconductors, I mean, we would just be spinning our wheels. More data centers and more computational power will help companies achieve AGI faster. And it's not just about the profits, Chris. I mean, the race to AGI has become a matter of national security.
Right. You're thinking of the Chinese.
Oh, precisely. I mean, these companies aren't just doing this work to enrich themselves. They're doing it to protect our nation and to establish American dominance for decades to come. I mean, Chris, just imagine if China achieved AGI 2 years ahead of the United States and suddenly became the largest and most powerful economic power on the planet, relegating the United States to the back seat.
Right. Yeah, that would definitely not be good for us or the world in many ways. Let me ask you this question. AGI, artificial general intelligence, is it the final frontier, so to speak, of technology? Where do we go from there?
I'm glad you asked that. I mean, most people misunderstand AI. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's not the final technology, but it will be a big part of the transition to a future world, and it's coming very soon, where computers are capable of solving problems far beyond human comprehension. Now, the AI, it's not at that point yet, but it's headed there very quickly, and it is getting close. And believe it or not, it's going to need help. And that's why I think folks need to look beyond just AI as a technology alone. Of course, Chris, that's why I'm here today. I have some very exciting news about what's really going on inside AI data centers, and it's actually not what most people think. You see, there's more to these data centers, and while everyone is focused on AI, the top companies are quietly embedding a different, more advanced technology inside. The few people in the stock market who understand this have a chance to make big gains by getting in early, and it's already happening as we speak. I mean, these hyperscale data centers are not just made of a single kind of semiconductor or server. They are expressly designed to serve multiple forms of computation.
See, you're going to have to explain that to me too, because I admit that's what I thought. I thought that inside an AI data center, you just got racks and racks of servers and chips. You're saying it's a lot more than that. So talk me through that.
Well, the uses and needs of these AI companies are different depending on what a company wants to achieve. It's not a one-size-fits-all scenario. And wherever possible, companies are trying to optimize their AI software with their AI hardware in a way that is both high performance and cost effective. So, for instance, inside an AI data center, you might have GPUs, typically top-of-the-line ones made by NVIDIA called Blackwells. I mean, they cost more than $25,000 a piece and are on back order for more than a year. Now, these are the workhorses of the AI data center for sure. And they're used to train an AI model like, say, OpenAI's ChatGPT or Elon Musk's company xAI in its Grok AI model. But that's just one use for AI. There's also what's called inference.
Inference. Now, see, what does that mean?
Well, inference is the running of AI applications. So this requires less energy and less computational power. So to run inference with GPUs would be somewhat of a waste of those chips and less effective. Now, inference is best performed by semiconductors that are designed and optimized for running AI applications. So AMD is the leading manufacturer of AI-specific chips for inference, but there are other private competitors out there like Cerebras and Grok, which is different than xAI's Grok, Samba Nova, and others. Even Google makes its own in-house chips for inference known as TPUs. Now, depending on an AI company's needs, you can toggle between GPUs and TPUs or other forms of AI-specific chips. So if you need to train an AI, it's probably going to be GPUs. If you need inference to run an AI application, it's best done using AI-specific chips for inference. And data centers already work this way. So the point is that whatever your application, you can choose your specific computational platform based on either performance or cost efficiency. A higher efficiency means lower cost to operate. So we're at the stage now where these decisions are extremely important and they're made on a daily basis. And data center providers are designing their services to offer customers the flexibility to delegate their workloads to a variety of different computational platforms.
Okay, I think I'm tracking with you now. These data centers are trying to give their clients options out there on what to do best. Now, you mentioned another far more powerful technology that's also going to be placed in these data centers. Can we talk about that?
That's right. So these data centers will host another groundbreaking technology. And this will be a game changer, Chris.
Yeah.
Not just for technology, but actually for the greater good of the world. So you see, while everyone is focused on AI and its impact, they're missing a brand new technology that is far more powerful, and it's being installed right beside GPUs in AI data centers. And it's not AI at all, though. So get this, it's 58,000 times more powerful than AI. And in the next few years, as the technology improves, it could prove to be millions and billions of times faster.
Wow, big numbers. What do you mean by faster specifically?
I mean, it could take complex problems that would take a classical computer system comprised of NVIDIA's GPUs thousands of years to solve, and more energy than the entire country, the U.S., produces annually to solve. Yet this breakthrough technology can do it in a matter of minutes, even seconds, and it's already been proven.
Wow, that is revolutionary. That's a bold promise, too, if true. Now, can you give us a practical example of what that might look like?
All right. Well, let's take pharmaceuticals, for instance. I mean, these radically advanced computer systems can analyze and even design molecules far larger than what classical computers are capable of doing. So this will allow drug companies to simulate reactions between larger, more complex molecules. It will result in new drugs being developed far more quickly than they are now, saving lives and drastically reducing the costs of research and development. And that's just one specific use. There are millions of ways to use these advanced computers to change our world in a positive way, far beyond what AI could do just by itself.
Right.
Now, Chris, to make something clear, this isn't something that's coming far into the future. It's happening right now. Amazon has already made this technology available to its own enterprise partners. Google researchers won a Nobel Prize last year for their advances in this technology, and McKinsey expects it to add over $1.3 trillion of enterprise value in the next decade. JP Morgan Chase is pouring money into this advanced technology as part of a multi-trillion-dollar plan to invest in industries that they deem critical to U.S. national and economic security. Now, NVIDIA is heavily involved as well, and they're building data centers designed to combine this advanced breakthrough with AI as we speak. Now, the Air Force Research Lab is also pivoting to this more powerful computing system. And there are even rumors that the Trump administration is going to make huge investments in the companies behind this technology. I mean, the greatest minds in the tech world are moving beyond AI and into this far more powerful tech. And I expect the stock market to follow suit. Now, already, companies involved, some very early stage small cap stocks, have soared in value, like 977%, 3,123%, even 5,846% in just 12 months. And that is just the beginning, because right now, this is a virtually unknown technology. Most so-called tech experts have no idea how it works, let alone that it even exists. And that's why they fail to see the true multi-trillion-dollar value of data centers. This technology is going to take its place in the AI data centers right next to the GPUs, the TPUs, the CPUs, and all other AI-specific semiconductors. And that's why the data center build-out is so important and so potentially lucrative. It's not just to advance AGI, but it's also to house this incredibly futuristic technology.
Right. This sounds incredible, and obviously it's going to be a really big opportunity, but the suspense is killing me here. What is this technology called that you're talking about?
Well, it's something that very few Americans have ever heard of or understood, but it's the real reason that data centers are even more valuable than previously thought. And investors who understand this as soon as possible can ride the gravy train as AI profits pour into this new technology, and it is called quantum computing. It's the most complex computing technology that's ever been developed. And as I mentioned earlier, it can solve problems in mere minutes or even seconds that would take classical computing systems using AI thousands of years to solve. Now, Chris, this is not an exaggeration. Let's just take Google, for example. Their early-stage quantum computers recently created an algorithm used to compute the structure of a molecule that performed the task far beyond the capabilities of a classical supercomputer. Now, Google released a statement saying, "This is the first time in history that any quantum computer has successfully run a verifiable algorithm that surpasses the ability of supercomputers." And the chief scientist of Google's quantum unit, Michel Devoret, who won a Nobel Prize in 2025 for his work, said, "This marks a new step towards full-scale quantum computation." In fact, Google already has a quantum chip on the market called Willow. Now, already Amazon has made quantum computers available in the cloud through its Amazon Bracket Cloud Services offering, and Microsoft released its own quantum chip in 2025 called Majorana 1. Now, beyond drug development, quantum computers are already being used for things like financial problem solving, like faster and more accurate risk modeling, portfolio optimization, even fraud detection and derivatives pricing. NASA is using quantum computers to improve data processing and imaging from its various space missions and advance cryptography and code cracking, of course. In fact, some believe quantum computing could completely destroy current cybersecurity standards and create newer codes that are impossible to crack. Now, BMW Group and Airbus are using quantum computing to develop advanced fuel cells for energy storage. And then, of course, there's the fields of molecule discovery and protein mapping where quantum computing could revolutionize the medical industry. The big hope is that a quantum computer can simulate any sort of chemical or biological experiment you would do in the lab, said Anand Natarajan, an associate professor of electrical engineering and computer sciences at MIT. Sridhar Tayur, a professor at Carnegie Mellon University's Tepper School of Business, says, right now, in some sense, we are trying to do brain surgery using a spoon and a fork. But ideally, to do brain surgery, you would need far more refined tools. And those far more refined tools are one of the promises of the quantum computer. McKinsey, a top consulting firm, says quantum computing will add at least $1.3 trillion in enterprise value over the next decade, and JP Morgan is investing in quantum as part of a $1.5 trillion security and resiliency initiative to finance industries that they've deemed critical to U.S. national and economic security. It makes perfect sense. Now, Nvidia, through its investment arm and ventures, is pouring money into billion-dollar quantum startups. And then, of course, there's the Trump administration. The rumors are that the Department of Commerce is looking to buy stakes in critical quantum computing companies. And then there's defense. Already, the Air Force Research Laboratory has invested millions to implement quantum into its own operations. The Wall Street Journal says when it comes to investing in quantum, the question now is more one of when, not if. So soon, savvy investors will catch on to what's happening here. And if you get in ahead of them, it could be a real boon to your investment portfolio. That's how you make money in technology, by getting in before the crowd.
Right. Exactly what you did in 2016 with NVIDIA. Right.
That's right, Chris. Now, look, if you had invested in NVIDIA after the release of ChatGPT, when its name was in every headline, you could have still made a decent amount of money. I mean, It's up 10x since that moment in November 2022. A $5,000 investment would have given you about $53,000 in return. That's not bad at all. But because of my experience as a global high-tech executive and an investment analyst, I understood NVIDIA's potential when it came to AI long before most people. In fact, in February 2016, when I pounded the table on the stock And by association, the future of artificial intelligence, most people thought that NVIDIA was just a gaming company.
That's right.
Now it's up 28,534% since I first recommended it. So $5,000 invested in February 2016 when I recommended NVIDIA would now be worth over $1.4 million. Now that's 26 times more than if you invested at the time of ChatGPT's public release.
Which is exactly why we've got you here today, right now. That's the power of a true tech insider like Jeff Brown. I can't wait to hear more about the quantum stocks that you like the best, that you've got your eyes on right now. Let me ask you this. If quantum computing is so much more powerful, is there something to worry about concerning AI? Is it going to kill off AI in some? How do those two react to each other?
That's a very common question, and the answer is not at all, Chris. I mean, quantum computers won't compete with AI. They actually enhance it and make it that much more powerful. So remember what I said about the hybrid use of data centers earlier?
Right. You mentioned the GPUs for the training, I think it was, the TPUs and the other AI-specific semiconductors. Inference.
Well done. So now these giant buildings will host more than just AI chips and servers. Quantum computers will take up a chunk of that space inside as well. Right. So you'll have, generally speaking, three choices. You'll have TPUs and other AI-specific semiconductors for inference. You'll have these workhorses, the GPUs, for AI training, and then quantum computers for the far more complex problems that are simply impossible to solve in any reasonable amount of time using GPUs, not to mention the cost and the amount of energy that would be required.
Yeah, that seems to be such a big issue for a lot of people, the amount of energy that AI data centers use. We are seeing increases in, I guess, electricity bills, and we're seeing protests around the country too.
Absolutely right. And quantum computers actually will help solve that problem because of the way they're made. Quantum computers use far less energy than these AI GPUs. So we shift the high energy, very complex problems to quantum computers, and the data centers will become far more energy efficient. It's an elegant solution to a very real problem. And it's happening right now. NVIDIA just partnered with Digital Realty and Oxford Quantum Circuits to build a quantum AI data center in New York City. So quantum can drive the AI revolution. Gerald Mullally, CEO of Oxford Quantum Circuits, said, IBM is using quantum and AI together at its Enningen, Germany site. Jan Goetz, CEO of IQM Quantum Computers, says a big part of our business model is actually selling quantum computers into high-performance computing centers where they are physically located right next to the racks full of CPUs and GPUs. Now, this is not a physical challenge in general. And the CEO of one prominent quantum company said in a Fox Business interview, in the next 2 to 3 years, we expect data center managers to start using quantum computers in conjunction with classical computers. Now, this will only enhance AI and make it even more powerful than it has already proven to be. This is the future of the data center. And Chris, it's happening as we speak. And I believe a few key quantum stocks could explode this year as a result.
Right. Can I ask you to share one of those stocks with us, Jeff?
Well, sure, Chris. I mean, there are two quantum companies that I'm very excited about, and they're both tied into data centers. So quantum stock number one is critical to nearly every quantum system. So you see, quantum computers are very sensitive to temperature, to light, to any kind of vibrations, and they have to be balanced just right to work correctly. So this company is one of the leaders in testing quantum computers to make sure that they're basically ready for operation. And they just released the world's largest quantum control system, which makes it far easier to scale the power of quantum computing. But Chris, the beauty of this company is that it's critical to a number of other advanced technologies as well. It's not just a quantum company. So it's essential to the most important tech of our time. It's already a key player in data center construction and installation, testing the high-performance chips and essential networking hardware. But it's also involved in 5G and even some of the more advanced 6G networks, which are coming. Now, it's helping power the shift to electric vehicles and also autonomous driving, and it's helping supply mission-critical testing for advanced aerospace and defense systems. And It's delving into a number of emerging technologies, not just quantum computing. And take a look at this, Chris. This company partners with 24 of the 25 top technology companies, 14 of 15 of the top mobile network operators, and every single one of the top 25 semiconductor companies. All 10 of the top automotive companies and 22 of the top 25 aerospace and defense contractors. Now, as data centers become more hybrid, this company will play a crucial role no matter whether it's Google, it's Amazon, xAI, or Microsoft. Whoever wins the race to AGI and quantum dominance, they will need this company's tools. Plus, its financials are very promising. We're talking about the antithesis of overvalued companies like Oracle or CoreWeave. They're sitting on $1.8 billion in cash and will generate over $1.2 billion in free cash flow in the 2025 fiscal year. EBITDA margins have grown from 23.8% in 2020 to nearly 29% today, and Wall Street experts, including myself, project that growth should only keep growing.
All right. So obviously, this company is very well positioned here. You've done some great research on it. Great opportunity here. Now, you said there were two. There's another quantum stock too?
Well, quantum stock number 2 is a strong hybrid play in regards to both data centers and quantum computers. So over 40% of their business is in industrial and building automation. And they've been heavily involved in building data centers to be more energy efficient and practical for the owners. They also have nearly half their business in aerospace and defense. And a big money draw right now with President Trump is leading the change to completely revamp our military. But this company has hidden value as well in the form of quantum computers. In fact, they own a large stake in the private company behind the world's highest performing quantum computer. It's a small part of their overall business now, but as the market for quantum computers heats up, it could mean a significant boost to share prices. I think it's important to get in now before the whole world catches on.
All right. Point blank. How do we get the names of those promising quantum stocks?
Well, Chris, I can't share the name of these stocks in this video, unfortunately, because it would be doing quite a disservice to my paying subscribers. But when we're done in just a few moments, I'll show you how to get my full report on these two companies. Now, it's called the 2 best stocks for the AI quantum data center. And even better, I've arranged for everyone watching this video to get a special limited time only discount on the membership price for my near future report newsletter, which I'll tell you more about in just a moment.
All right. Very, very good news. Excited to hear about that. I know our viewers are as well. Jeff, let me ask you this question first. With quantum on the verge of this breakout, does it make sense? Would you advise us to just rush out and maybe snatch up any other stock out there that's related to quantum in some way?
I'm glad you asked that, Chris, because there tends to be investors' inclinations when a breakthrough technology hits the market. And I have to say, it can be very dangerous. So besides the companies that I'll tell you about in the 2 best stocks for the AI quantum data center, I'm also tracking a few very promising smaller quantum stocks, and I'm not ready to recommend them yet for various reasons, but my readers will be the first to know. However, in my research, I've come across a couple quantum stocks that are absolutely no good. I mean, there's one specifically I think every investor should avoid at all costs, and I want to warn our viewers as soon as possible. I mean, this company is attracting a lot of attention, even from some of the biggest banks in the world, and that gives it an air of legitimacy that I don't believe it deserves. So I'm telling you, investing in the stock could be very, very dangerous for your portfolio. You see, Chris, anytime there's a gold rush in a new technology like this, kind of unsavory characters try to take advantage of it. They'll slap quantum on their name and end up deceiving a lot of people. I mean, there's a great example. Do you remember that Long Island Iced Tea Corporation, Chris?
Long Island Iced Tea Corporation? No, I don't think I know that.
Yeah, most people don't, but it was a soft drink maker who essentially defrauded investors during the blockchain craze, simply by changing its name to the Long Island Blockchain Corporation. Share prices soared 380% almost immediately, despite this company having absolutely nothing at all to do with blockchain technology. Now, of course, they were eventually delisted from the NASDAQ, and a trio of company officers were charged with insider trading over the incident. Now, while I'm not seeing illegal activity, I am seeing similar signs in one popular quantum company, and it has no history of quantum research a revolving door of CEOs, and financially, it's essentially pre-revenue. So these are all really massive red flags, and I think you should avoid this stock like the plague. I'll explain exactly which stock to avoid and how to spot other phonies in quantum computing in my special report, The Quantum Loser, One Popular Quantum Stock to Avoid. And I'll send it to you today, along with the 2 best stocks for the AI quantum data center when you take a heavily discounted membership to my near future report service. But Chris, I want to make it clear first. I still think the best way to play this breakthrough is by investing in the AI data center build-out, perhaps the greatest infrastructure project in world history. And it's just getting started. There's still plenty of time to cash in. As quantum computers are installed alongside AI, these data centers will only grow in demand and value. So we are not in an AI bubble. We're at the start of this massive AI and quantum boom. And I think there's a few stocks that are going to carry the day.
Right. And I got to believe NVIDIA is one of them.
Absolutely. I mean, NVIDIA is the king of the AI data center. Their advanced chips are at the heart of every AI breakthrough. And I believe they are one of the most important companies in history. CEO Jensen Huang is one of the shrewdest leaders of our time, and I believe NVIDIA should be a buy in every portfolio. I don't think its place at the top of the AI throne is going to come under threat anytime soon. But there's something a lot of people don't realize about NVIDIA. They can't build all of these chips on their own. NVIDIA employs a small network of companies to help it maintain dominance in the chip industry, what I call NVIDIA's silent partners. And it's these lesser-known companies that could exponentially outperform NVIDIA's stock. So this is a great way to make money in technology. Invest in the companies behind the scenes, like ASML, that's the Dutch company who builds the machine used to make NVIDIA's chips. Now, its shares went up 609% at the peak. Or Applied Materials, they produce semiconductor manufacturing equipment used by NVIDIA. Now, this stock, it jumped 471%. Supermicro Computer has been working with NVIDIA to make AI servers since they were a tiny video game supplier. But as NVIDIA stock has risen, so has Supermicro Computer, and it's up an astounding 499% in less than 3 years. So NVIDIA rose to fame in much the same way. Its first big break was supplying Microsoft's Xbox gaming console with its semiconductors. And while the tech giant stock went up a healthy 759% between 2000 and 2024, NVIDIA's stock did 77 times better, going up 56,568% over the same period. So I found 2 companies who are absolutely critical to NVIDIA's operations. And I believe these stocks, like NVIDIA, are worth owning for the next 2 decades, possibly beyond. I mean, that's how big their impact is on the future of artificial intelligence. Now, of course, I can't promise gains that high, but in fact, I think they'll have outsized gains compared to NVIDIA. After all, for NVIDIA to repeat its performance of the last 3 years, it would have to become a $75 trillion company. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the stock and I love the company, but that's probably a bridge too far.
Yeah, not likely to happen.
No. So instead, you can buy NVIDIA's partner companies that are much smaller and potentially make far more.
Right.
So these 2 stocks are going to play a major role in the AI data center build out, and I'm going to share all that information with you in a special briefing I put together. It's called The Backbone of Data Centers, NVIDIA and 2 other stocks set to dominate AI. And I'm going to give everyone watching this video a chance to claim a copy in just a moment.
Let me back up a minute and talk about energy, because I did read, and we talked a little bit about it, some of the giant AI data centers out there. I'm thinking of OpenAI Stargate or Musk's Colossus in Memphis.
Right.
They use as much energy as big cities, like the size of Denver or Boston. Now, I know Musk has confessed that energy solutions for AI are like his number one worry right now. He thinks we could run out of energy for AI data centers within the next year, I think. So my question is this energy crisis, does it have the potential to derail this whole thing, the whole AI boom? And if not, is there some way that investors out there can maybe leverage this demand for energy and take advantage of that?
Well, in the long term, I am very bullish. I always have been on nuclear energy. And I've spent the last couple of months touring some of the nuclear energy infrastructure getting built around America. And over the next couple of years, I expect to write a lot more about this in my near future report newsletter. But nuclear or next generation nuclear is still a ways off from paying off for investors. And the whole point of the near future report is to generate profits on technology right now, right around the corner. So I don't want to give you investments that are years away from paying off. Chris, I worked in Japan for many, many years. And while I was there, I picked up an old proverb.
Yeah.
It's phonetically translated as Mikasaki Shireba Choja. And roughly it means in English, if you can see 3 days into the future, you'll become rich. So in other words, you don't have to know what's going to happen miles down the road to get rich on tech stocks. You only need to know what's coming right around the corner. Now, look, I don't know about you, but I'm not satisfied with waiting a decade to profit. I want to see a profit return as soon as possible. And I think that's something most tech investors miss. They're always trying to predict the future when the here and now can be very profitable. And when it comes to the energy that will power AI, I believe nuclear power plants are still a couple of years away, the next generation plants. That's why tech CEOs are going back to an old school energy source, natural gas. It is cheap. We have an abundance of it, and it can get hooked up far quicker than anything else. So for instance, rather than wait on the grid or some future source of new energy, Elon Musk quickly built natural gas turbines on the campus of his Colossus data center outside of Memphis. Now, I've been there to confirm it for myself. I have seen them with my own eyes. Goldman Sachs says natural gas is going to supply 60% of the energy needs created by AI data centers. Wells Fargo believes natural gas demand could increase by 10 billion cubic feet per day by 2030. That's why people are getting more bullish on gas, said Wells Fargo's Roger Reed. Those are some pretty high growth rates for a commodity, Robert Blue, CEO of natural gas producer Dominion, said. Economic growth, electrification, accelerating data center expansion are driving the most significant demand growth in our company's history, and they show no signs of abating. Spending on AI data centers has exploded, and it's coming from the most valuable companies in the world, and I found 2 companies I think will benefit the most. But I'd recommend acting quickly while the market is still favorable. Natural gas stock number 1 is a play on both the short-term and long-term future of the AI energy boom. And this company has a deep portfolio of natural gas infrastructure projects, and it's well positioned to benefit in the near term, but they're also invested in some key AI nuclear projects. So they'll continue to profit even if there is a future transition to nuclear. So it's the best of both worlds.
Right.
And natural gas stock number 2 is a leading producer of natural gas turbines. Now, they can build them in a matter of months, and they're going to be key to providing immediate energy to data centers across the country. In fact, they just partnered with Chevron to build natural gas power plants specifically for data centers. So if you want to play the AI energy boom, these are the 2 best stocks to buy, in my opinion. And I'll share more information in my special report, 2 natural gas stocks for the AI energy boom. And it's yours today, along with my 3 other special reports, the 2 best stocks for the AI quantum data center, the quantum loser, one popular AI stock to avoid, and the backbone of AI data centers, Nvidia, and 2 other stocks set to dominate AI.
All right. Now, how do our viewers actually get their hands on those reports?
Okay, well, they're yours when you become a member of the Near Future Report. And as a member, you'll get a new recommendation every month with a new way for you to profit from the exploding technology market. Now, you won't hear about these stocks ahead of time on TV or from some kind of regular stock picker. And to be blunt, most of the technology advice out there is pretty bad. When I read it, I can tell instantly that they don't understand what they're writing about. As I mentioned before, I've worked as an executive at cutting-edge tech companies like Juniper Networks, NXP Semiconductors, and Qualcomm, and I've traveled the country inspecting new data center and energy infrastructure, and I understand these complicated technologies in a way that most investors simply never will. Now, that's probably why my work has been followed by financial professionals at BlackRock, JP Morgan, SoftBank, Morgan Stanley, Edward Jones, and a whole lot more. And nearly 1 million people follow my technology updates daily in my free newsletter, The Bleeding Edge. But that's just a small preview. Near Future Report members get a whole lot more, and I'll take you behind the scenes and on location to some of the biggest tech breakthroughs in history right before they're on the tip of every American's tongue. I'll put you in position to profit from the next big thing year after year. And remember, I called Bitcoin at $240 back in 2015. It's skyrocketed 37,326% since then. ASML rose 582% after I recommended it. AMD and Okta each went up 920%. Tesla up 1,960%. Palo Alto Networks up 679%. Lam Research up 517%, and Twilio up 1,716%, all since I first recommended them.
Right. And I know we talked about it already, but then you can't leave out your famous NVIDIA pick. You recommended that one back in February of 2016, again, when most people out there outside of tech's inner circle had never heard of them. And that stock is now up 28,534% since that point, too. So $15,000 when you were first pounding the table on that chip maker, be worth a cool $4 million today. More than that.
That's right. And when you join the Near Future Report today, I will share the stocks that I'm most excited about right now, including the two stocks that I believe are the best way to play the AI quantum data center boom.
Right. So how do folks actually sign up then for the Near Future Report, Jeff?
Well, Chris, in just a moment, I'm going to offer everyone watching this video a membership to the Near Future Report at a very generous, limited time only prices. Some folks with far less experience than I have charge thousands of dollars a year for bogus tech research. Now, you'll pay far less to get my high-level tech expertise combined with my track record of spotting profitable tech stocks way ahead of time. But Chris, there's one more opportunity that I'd like to tell our viewers about before we go, and I think it's going to be the top tech story of 2026. Now, I have to say, this is the year of the robot, and there's no greater authority than NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says robots are about to have their ChatGPT moment. And Elon Musk, who else is at the forefront?
Right. So I just want to be clear. You're talking about the cybercab and robotaxi, which is self-driving vehicles?
Well, that's certainly part of it. But Chris, I mean, that's just the beginning. Well, I believe Tesla and Musk are going to dominate autonomous vehicles, essentially robots on wheels.
Yeah.
I also think they will be the leaders in the field of humanoid robotics. Now, already, Musk has plans to build 100,000 Optimus robots to be used in his factories and offices, and get this, sold to Americans for use in their home or their businesses. And he's already set the price at around $25,000. So, Chris, just imagine a robot, an intelligent general purpose robot in your home, powered by AI with thousands of potential uses, and it costs less than a car.
Clearly a game changer for life in the United States, but obviously a very profitable opportunity for Tesla and its shareholders.
Well,
Yeah.
Chris, I mean, I believe Tesla stock could 10x from here. They are the worldwide leader in autonomous cars and robots, and in 2026, these robots will become a reality. 1 billion robots sold worldwide would mean a $25 trillion opportunity for Musk and Tesla. I mean, this is the next frontier in technology and the next consumer electronics product every American will need to have.
Now, Jeff, how can viewers actually invest in Elon's Optimus robot?
Well, I mean, it goes without saying, one way would be to just simply start buying Tesla stock, but there's another opportunity that I think could be far more lucrative. So another publicly traded company whose technology is critical to Musk's operation. Without its parts, I believe Musk would struggle to produce Optimus. He needs them, and that means they could be in line for a ton of revenue in the coming years as these robots take off. Yet, as of this moment, very few investors know their name, and I'll share it with you in my bonus report, Elon's 25,000% secret weapon, the one stock that makes Tesla's robotic revolution possible. It's yours today, along with all 4 of your other bonus reports, just for giving the Near Future Report a risk-free try.
So much great information coming your way. Remember, folks, you're going to have 30 days to test out the Near Future Report just to make sure this service is right for you. And I have no doubt it will be. But if not, all you got to do is call or email us in the first month and we'll give you a full refund. No questions asked. But just remember, think about this. Just $15,000 invested in NVIDIA when Jeff first recommended it. would be worth over $4 million today. Of course, all investments carry risk. Past performance never guarantees future success. You never want to invest more than you're willing to lose. But with everything that you've heard today here, I mean, how much is the stock market information that Jeff Brown is going to share with you in these reports worth? I mean, the chance to grab the next Nvidia, thousands of dollars? The good news is he's going to charge you far less than that for a full year of the near future report. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right, Chris. You see, I made the near future report very affordable to bring high quality technology investing information to more people. And typically, we only charge $4.99 a year for the near future report. And I'm sure you'll agree, that's a very fair price given my track record and the quality of the information that I'll share with you. But today, I'm going to give you a special discount. Take advantage of today's offer, and I'll charge you just $179 for a full year of the near future report with full benefits and all of the special reports that I promised. That's 64% off the regular price.
Can't beat it. No way. It's a very special deal, Jeff. And I should also mention, you're only going to see this offer for a limited time. Actually, I think you mentioned that. So don't hesitate here. You can access this offer by pressing the button below this video right now. Jeff, we're running out of time here. Fabulous having you here. Terrific information, incredible insight. But before we let you go, anything else we haven't covered that you want to talk about right now?
Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, well, I want everyone to understand AI is not in a bubble. It is the next great American success story, and we're still at the very beginning. It will ignite the biggest economic boom in history, and I expect the U.S. GDP to grow by 10% every year for the next decade and beyond. Technologies like AI, quantum computing, and robots will make early investors a whole lot of money. And as a member of the Near Future Report, I will be with you every step of the way. The future that we have dreamed of has arrived. This is the most exciting time in history to be alive. We have so much to look forward to. So please, please click the button below and join us at the Near Future Report today.